This is macOS Ken.
The ITC wants the Apple Watch ban back, another downgrade for Apple shares, and news around China's AirDrop access. It is Thursday, the 11th of January, 2024. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSCan. We have rounded the latest turn in the twist and turn filled tale of the Apple Watch ban. You remember this one. The week before Christmas, sales of Apple Watch models with blood oxygen sensors were stopped in the U.S. due to a finding of infringement by Apple against patents held by the medical technology firm Masimo. Then a piece from Engadget says the Cupertino company asked a federal circuit court to stay the ban on the import and sale of the affected devices until a decision is reached regarding proposed redesigns of affected smartwatch models. Apple asked for the stay on the 26th of December. It got it in limited fashion on the 27th. According to Engadget, the appeals court consented to a short-term stay on the ban. The court gave the International Trade Commission, or ITC, until the 10th of January to respond to Apple's motion for a longer-term pause during the appeals process. Because it was the ITC that put the ban in place, you see. Hey, the 10th of January, wasn't that yesterday? It was indeed. Sliding in under the wire, a piece from Mac Rumor says the ITC did respond on Wednesday, calling the Cupertino company's request bull foul. It is against a longer stay. In its response to the Federal Circuit Court, the ITC said Apple presents a weak and unconvincing case to invoke the extraordinary remedy of a stay pending appeal. Its arguments amount to little more than an indisputably adjudicated infringer requesting permission to continue infringing the asserted patents. So what happens next? Well, check back in about a week. According to Mac Rumors, the court is still accepting replies in support until the 15th of January, so the Apple Watch should remain available until later this week at a minimum. Another downgrade for Apple on Wednesday. Apple 3.0 had word of a move from Redburn Atlantic analyst James Cordwell. I had never heard of Cordwell nor Redburn Atlantic, so I did a tiny bit of digging. According to the firm's site, Redburn Atlantic is the public equities arm of Rothschild & Company, which has been doing what it does in world financial markets for over 200 years. So literally, nothing new about them. According to the Post, which was actually highlighting a Seeking Alpha piece, Cordwell sees little room for upside for Apple shares over the next few years. He's said to be worried about regulatory risks for Apple. He's also concerned about iPhone sales. Kind of. According to the report, while Cordwell expects the iPhone to start growing again in 2024, he thinks worries over the March quarter could impact that outlook. With that, he lowered his rating on Apple shares from buy to hold. He held his 12-month price target, though, keeping that at $200. Apple 3.0, Seeking Alpha, and a piece from Yahoo Finance all pointed out that Redburn's is the third downgrade for Apple shares since the start of the year, which started last week. Barclays analyst Tim Long led off the moves, dropping his rating on the shares from overweight to equal weight. He was followed by Piper Sandler analyst Harsh Kumar, who dropped his rating on the shares from buy to neutral. The Yahoo Finance piece has the analysts vexed by pretty much the same basic points. They are all worried about a slowdown in iPhone sales, particularly in China, while the Barclays analyst thinks Apple will meet expectations for the December quarter. He thinks the outlook for the current quarter will be disappointing. Meanwhile, Kumar is worried about the possible reinstatement of the Apple Watch sales ban here in the States, as well as antitrust fights around the world. Interestingly, the Yahoo Finance piece then crossed to the sunny side of the street. According to the report, Wall Street isn't entirely down on the iPhone maker. Of the 53 analysts tracking Apple, 32 maintain buy ratings, while 16 have hold ratings. Just 5 analysts have sell ratings on the stock. Remember the report earlier this week about China sort of spying on senders of data through AirDrop? Not only does that seem to be true, it seems like it's a problem that Apple has known about for a while. I told you Wednesday of a piece from Bloomberg that had the Chinese government saying it has figured out a way to identify folks who send messages through AirDrop. According to that report, Beijing's Judicial Bureau said it's developed a technique to crack an iPhone's encrypted device log to identify the numbers and emails of senders who share AirDrop content. Now a piece from Macworld says, duh. According to their report, security researchers have been warning Apple since at least 2019 that the AirDrop protocol is flawed and can be cracked. According to the report, the Chinese group reported on earlier this week says its experts have found log data for the AirDrop process on a recipient's iPhone. The device name of the sender's iPhone, along with their email and telephone number, is saved on the target iPhone during data transfer. Although the latter two details are converted into hash values, the security company has found a method to convert those hash values into readable text. The authors of the Macworld piece believe this, partly because they were able to do it themselves, though they were not able to convert the hash values into readable text themselves. The other reason they believe it? They say security researchers have been warning Apple since at least 2019 that the AirDrop protocol is flawed and can be cracked. Macworld has Alexander Heinrich at TU Darmstadt indicating that it was only a matter of time before the security gaps in AirDrop were abused. While Heinrich has actually engineered a more secure protocol he calls Private Drop, he says Apple gave that a miss because it would not be backward compatible with older iOS versions. Things seem to be going more smoothly this week for OS betas. Last week, the second developer beta of iOS 17.3 had this nasty side effect of bricking some phones. This week, it looks to be smooth sailing. A day after a slew of new betas for the developer program, a piece from Mac Rumors says Apple has seeded new betas of iOS and iPadOS 17.3 to public testers, along with a new beta of macOS Sonoma 14.3. If you're in with the in crowd, you know what to do. If you're not but want to go where the in crowd goes, start by going to beta.apple.com. Speaking of testers, Apple's got a few more behind the wheel. The piece from Mac Reports has new numbers from the California Department of Motor Vehicles. According to those, the number of drivers in Apple's autonomous vehicle test program went up by a few over the last month or so. In November, the piece says Apple had 145 drivers listed. The latest from the DMV puts the number at 162. It's also added cars for them to test. That number was at 66 according to the piece. It is now at 68, marking the first vehicles added since 2021. While the tests are said to be for autonomous vehicles, if you see one rolling without a driver, something has gone wrong. Despite being one of the early entrants into the California autonomous vehicle scene, Mac Reports says Apple has still not applied for a permit to test driverless vehicles in the state. And finally today, if it is a day that ends in Y, why it must be time for more awards nominations. Apple TV Plus is up for 11 more, this time from the Screen Actors Guild Awards. These awards are by actors, for actors. They're voted on by close to 120,000 members of the SAG-AFTRA union. The 11 award nominations are spread across only 4 Apple TV Plus titles. They include 3 for Killers of the Flower Moon, Outstanding Lead Female Actor Lily Gladstone, Outstanding Supporting Male Actor Robert De Niro, and Outstanding Performance by a Cast in a Motion Picture. On the TV side, Ted Lasso picked up 4 nominations: Outstanding Male Actor in a Comedy Series, Brett Goldstein; Outstanding Male Actor in a Comedy Series, Jason Sudeikis. Awkward. Outstanding Female Actor in a Comedy Series, Hannah Waddingham; and Outstanding Ensemble in a Comedy Series. The Morning Show picked up 3 nominations: Outstanding Male Actor in a Drama Series, Billy Crudup; Outstanding Female Actor in a Drama Series, Jennifer Aniston; and Outstanding Ensemble in a Drama Series. And finally, Lessons in Chemistry picked up 1 nomination. Brie Larson is nominated for Outstanding Female Actor in a Television Movie or Limited Series. Now, one of the things I found most interesting about this set of awards is the great big hug SAG-AFTRA gave and is giving to what we, 20 years or so later, still call new media. Not only were the nominees announced on Instagram, the awards will be presented live on a service not known for doing the live thing. The 30th Annual Screen Actors Guild Awards will stream live globally on Netflix. That is set for Saturday, the 24th of February at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. macOS Can, brought to you by me and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOScan. Advertising handle by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. info@macoscan.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.